Sarah, even amidst the wedding bliss, couldn't shake the feeling that their family's happiness would be disrupted. Barbara, her new mother-in-law, almost overshadowed the festivities. The morning after the celebration started off on a sour note. Barbara, who had crashed at her son's condo, began banging on the newlyweds' bedroom door at 7 a.m. "Rise and shine," she boomed. "How long do you plan to sleep in? Michael, open this door right now. What are you two doing up there?" Sarah, already awake and getting dressed hurriedly after the first knock, scolded her husband. "Michael, I really need your mother to leave today. This is outrageous. How rude. Yesterday's drama was more than enough for me. I'm sure both our families will be talking about your dear mother's antics for years to come. It's like she thinks the groom's first dance should be with her, not his bride." "Come on, Sarah," mumbled Michael. "Everything worked out in the end. I'm sure the guests had a good time. I'll talk to my mom today. I'll send her and Dad back home. Please, don't stress about it. Mom, let's get going. We're awake. Stop knocking on the door." Sarah had gotten married while 3 months pregnant, a decision Barbara referred to as a situation. They hadn't planned for a kid or marriage anytime soon, but an unexpected pregnancy changed their plans, prompting them to elope. Sarah suspected that Michael's mother harbored some resentment towards her. It was clear, even during their initial meetings. Barbara's expressions towards her future daughter-in-law were so tense that Sarah started to worry if her mother-in-law might have a stroke right there. Despite her son's pleas, Barbara had no intention of leaving on the second day after the wedding. In fact, she planned to extend her stay as a guest for at least another week or so. Sarah, upon hearing this, felt discouraged. "Michael, what about our mini honeymoon? We were going to go to San Francisco. Let's do it. Did we take vacation days for nothing? If she wants to stay, let her stay. She can explore New York City for a few days." Dad said he's heading back home alone. In San Francisco, Michael and Sarah had a fantastic time. They wandered through the city, enjoying each other's company, capturing memories with photos, visiting exhibits and museums. Sarah often found herself wishing they didn't have to return home, especially with Barbara still occupying their apartment. Meanwhile, Michael's mother took it upon herself to transform her son's bachelor pad into a more comfortable space. Barbara, unhappy with her son's choice, considered Sarah messy, incapable of even properly ironing bed sheets. While they were gone, Barbara took charge. She got rid of the figurines that had bothered her for a long time, reorganized the closet, and replaced the dark brown and black bed sheets with a luxurious set for a queen-sized bed, even decorating the living room. Convinced Sarah would appreciate the changes, Barbara felt satisfied with her work. Upon Michael's return from San Francisco, he found himself once again in the middle of a heated argument. His wife and mother clashed so intensely that the crystal chandelier overhead swayed precariously. "Who gave you the permission?" Sarah's voice boomed as she confronted her mother-in-law. "Those figurines were family heirlooms from my grandmother. Real expensive porcelain. Where did you throw them away? Put them back right now." "And another thing," Barbara retorted with equal passion. "I'm not going to sort through garbage. If you toss them out, then that's where they belong, collecting dust for years. You barely clean this place." "Enough, both of you," Michael interjected, trying to reason with both his mother and wife. "What's the point of all this? Sarah, please, no need to yell. Mom, stop provoking her. Who asked you to rearrange things here? Why do you always feel the need to interfere where you're not wanted? And you're taking Sarah's side?" Barbara's voice rose in disbelief. "After all I've done for you? You should be thanking me. I decluttered this place, got this apartment organized. 3 garbage bags full of stuff. I cleaned out your closet. Dog fur everywhere, dirty carpets. The smell was unbearable." Sarah stormed into the bedroom, her voice carrying from within. "Michael, she threw out my things too. Even those fancy sheets you gave me for my birthday." With a huff and a puff, Barbara marched out of their condo, declaring, "I won't be back here again. And you, Michael, if you ever think of apologizing to me, you know where to find me." Sarah knew this wasn't over. Her overbearing mother-in-law would definitely keep meddling in their lives with Michael. Making things worse, the apartment they lived in belonged to Barbara. Michael truly believed only a crazy person would give up the chance to live in such a comfy, convenient place. Sarah had tried numerous times to bring up moving out and becoming independent, but it always ended the same way. Michael got angry and refused to spend money on rent. While Sarah recognized they relied on Barbara to some extent, she wouldn't let her walk all over her. Despite this, a tiny flicker of hope remained that she might eventually have a neutral relationship with Michael's mother. Maybe things would change after the baby arrived, and Barbara would stop being so difficult. Barbara's absence was a relief, but it was short-lived. 3 months after the blowout, she showed up at their doorstep again. Michael had only spoken to her on the phone during that time, and Sarah cherished the peace and quiet. To Sarah's dismay, her mother-in-law hadn't come to make amends. Instead, she waltzed in with a new pet to flaunt, a blue kitten named Matilda. "Here, Michael, meet Matilda," Barbara announced, strutting into the living room like nothing had happened. "Ugh, get that filthy thing out of here. It might scare my precious Matadushka." Sarah, who had a childhood allergy to cat fur, couldn't contain her frustration. "Hi, Barbara. That's not disgusting, that's my dog. Please don't try to kick her with your foot. I saw that. Can you tell me why you brought the kitten? You know I'm allergic to cats." "What's the difference?" Barbara scowled. "Take some allergy medicine or go hang out in your room." "Michael, look how adorable she is. By the way, have you thought about getting a cat? I still have the breeder's number." Feeling her nose tickle with the beginnings of an allergic reaction, Sarah tried to reason with her mother-in-law. "Barbara, I'm pregnant. I don't want to take unnecessary medication. It might harm the baby. Plus, we already have a dog. Don't you think they might not get along? Well, then get rid of your mutt. Stick her in your mom's room for a few days. Or just keep her locked in your room, and don't let her out." "Enough," Sarah's voice boomed. "I'm done with this. Barbara, don't you realize your visits disrupt our lives? Why can't you call ahead and let us know you're coming? What if Michael and I are busy or out of town? And who are you that I need to inform?" Barbara exploded. "Why should I explain myself to you? I'm your son's wife. I'm not asking for a full report, just a heads up before you visit. Is that too much to ask?" Michael flinched, his shoulders tense as he spoke up. "Listen up, dear," Barbara hissed, marching towards Sarah. "Listen carefully. I'm in charge here. This is my apartment and my son, so things will be done my way. You're his wife, but he could have countless women like you. He only has one mother. If you want to stay here with him, you better not cross me. Do you understand?" Sarah clutched her dog tightly and retreated to the bedroom in silence. She decided to go to her parents' place to clear her head and figure out her next move. Once Barbara left, Sarah confronted her husband, demanding they deal with the situation head-on or face the possibility of divorce. Michael rushed to pick Sarah up, but she wouldn't return until his mother left. Determined to face the issue head-on, Sarah laid down the law. Michael's frustration boiled over. "What's your plan, then? Cut off all contact with my parents. Is that what you want?" "Michael, I'm just asking you to rely on them less," Sarah pleaded. "I get along with your dad just fine, but your mom and I just can't seem to see eye to eye. She treats me like an enemy, not her daughter-in-law. Can't you see she's jealous? Remember how she carried on at our wedding like someone died? Sarah, let's stay in this apartment until the baby arrives. Then we'll reevaluate. We need to save money for the baby. There's no extra cash for rent, honestly. I'll talk to my mom, ask her to limit her visits. I'm tired of this constant fighting too. But I'm stuck. I want to save our marriage. But I don't want to hurt my mom either. For the next few months, things were relatively calm for Sarah. Barbara only visited a couple of times and kept her distance. Sarah preferred this silence to the constant criticism and lectures. As Sarah entered her 9th month of pregnancy, things got much harder. She had terrible back pain, tired legs, and a sore lower back. Seeing his wife's discomfort, Michael wouldn't let her do any housework, taking on the cleaning himself after work. Despite the situation, the apartment stayed pretty tidy thanks to Michael's efforts. A week before her due date, Sarah took charge and called Barbara directly, barking out orders. Our relatives are arriving today. I'll be meeting them in 2 hours. While they rest from their trip and grab a bite, I'll try to buy us some time. It's already noon. Be here by 6 p.m. sharp. Set a nice table, clean the apartment, spotless. Find somewhere else for the dog. And please, get dressed. Ditch the robe. Let's get this moving. Sarah wouldn't budge. After hanging up, she got out of bed and headed to the kitchen. There, she made herself some tea and called Michael. "This is too much," she exclaimed, her voice laced with frustration. "Don't you dare try to stop me. I'll be there at 6 to greet the guests myself." When Michael faced his relatives, he unleashed 6 months' worth of built-up anger towards his mother. Barbara, stunned by her son's betrayal, couldn't speak, while the guests apologized. "Michael, we had no idea your wife was pregnant. Barbara never mentioned a thing when she insisted we come. We're so sorry. If we had known, we wouldn't have bothered you." Leaving, Barbara turned to Sarah with a quiet threat. "Fine. But you'll regret this. You won't be living with my son, mark my words." That very night, Michael rented an apartment and moved there with Sarah. He stopped talking to his mother, only staying in touch with his dad. Soon after, Sarah went into labor earlier than expected, and the baby was born with some health problems. Despite the chaos, Barbara refused to take any blame. Do you think pregnancy is an excuse for idleness in her eyes? I hope you enjoyed this story. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more awesome stories in the future. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey, and we'll see you next video.